And we're live. All right. I don't know why this audio inputs and outputs just always keep moving around. But then I have a couple of OBSs for different situations. So anyway, if you've joined me for previous game time, as in gaming, feel lucky that we don't just do gaming. We do adult things here too. Um, Adult things like finances, like how to spend your money, investments, and I don't need this. Okay. And other key factors that will benefit your life and not just waste it. Because, yeah, we're gamers here. But like gamers, we're not just casual gamers. We're real-time strategy gamers. And we enjoy building strategies, not only for games, but also for our futures. So while I set up here, we're going to be discussing a ton. There's so much happening in the market, yo. I don't normally do these market updates, right? Because, like, yeah, you're gonna have some people on YouTube that are just special to just market stuff and they gotta make content and they gotta constantly make new things about what's happening in the market. Otherwise, their algorithm dries out and then they don't make money from the views. But because I don't care about the money of the views or even the views in general, it can be a lot, it can be a little, it can be one, it can be 10. Of course, 10 is better than one simply because one effort that I put in helped or has been seen by 10 people. And as an educator, when you do one-to-one, teaching one person on a one-to-one basis, all that hour of effort is only going to be absorbed by one person. So on the level of mathematics, yeah, I love it when like one video gets 10 views because everything I've taught this one student now can teach 10 students. It just multiplies consistently. Um, I haven't done too many math videos lately, but yeah, math isn't quite a go-getter on YouTube, especially with trying to make shorts on mathematics. Try it out. You got to be very clever. It just doesn't, it's not as appealing as gaming, obviously. So, let me adjust some windows and let me open this up because we're going to be, oh, true. We're going to be over here. We're going to be right up in this here. I want to make sure my stream looks good, acts good, that I'm not screwing something up. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Because I'm not the best of streamers. Broadcast. I know I'm going to call myself a broadcaster. Streamers have a horrible undertone to them, especially those in real life streamers. They go to different countries and just harass people for views. What kind of bullshit is that, yo? Complete bullshit. Alright, so let me open up some valuations here. I do kind of want this window. I have, if you haven't seen, check this. One, two, three. So I'm kind of, work. Oh wait, you can't probably even see too much of it, but I'm working on 3 computers right now, and my ADHD and multitasking skills are having trouble speaking whilst moving windows around. Trying to keep the action going. Maybe I'll put some music on. But I just want to make sure the stream looks good. Looks good, looks good. Let me hear it. Audio wise. Yellow. Ole ole oxen fry. Oh wait, that's in over here. We good? Hello? Burpy burpy. Slurpy jerpy. Wait, that's the wrong speaker. Okay. Alright. Audio is good. Now when I play something, we'll see if that's going to work out any better. Anyway. Oh, I don't want to go into too complicated analytics and technical indicators and yada yada yada. So let's just kind of drop the visuals and the indicators for now. And let's even go with some basic lines, because lines easier to read than bar graphs. Although bar graphs you can trade a lot better by watching the bars. You cannot really trade too well the candles. You can't trade too well just watching a single line value. The bars give you four values: a top, a high, a top, a low, and then a closing and opening, which then you can make some more details out of it. But let's kind of just look at the overall market. We went whoop-de-doo up to a high of 613. That was insane. Okay, it works, so I'm going to let that go. And lately, because of tariffs and other issues, we've been having some turbulence. A very, very long, fast turbulence down. Now, we've had that multiple times, but in the speed in which it's going, it's not the same. So this slope, much more negative than this slope. More negative meaning a larger negative number, which in reality is a small number if you compare it to a single dimensional number line. And then this one. So we kind of had this happen back in 2020 COVID times, 2021 when it activated. We had a downtrend. And because markets always go up and down, don't be a mooner to the mooner. Those doomers and mooners are both retarded. I'm just gonna say that right now. If you're a mooner, if you're like everything's going up forever, you're retarded. And if you're like everything's crashing to zero, you're just as equally retarded. So that's just basically politics. You're either one camp or the other camp, and you can't change your mind about which camp you are. And then when things change against you, you start being quiet because you don't have anything to say because this whole time you said it was going to go up and now it's going down. I ride the volume. I'm a market surfer, if anything. I surf the waves wherever they take me. I don't call upward shots. I don't call downward shots. I call trends. Let me see if I can do some. Yeah, let's get my Epic pen out. So here's my trends that I'm noticing. Because again, we've had these case scenarios very often. Mm, I hope it does on Quayosh. Last time I used my Epic pen with my streaming, it kind of didn't do so well. If it works this time, what? Hello? Hello, Epic pen? Huh. I wonder if it's broken. We can still do it from here, but I already got so many technical indicators, so let's do it this way. I'm also keeping track of DJT. I made some really good plays over here. Some really good call option plays. I'm on a simple put play right now for a small correction down here. But I made at least 300% with options from this movement up. And it's all based on this trend here. And also a lot of volume popping. You can see the volume increasing here on this day. I was like, wait a minute, why is demand going so crazy? We had some pops over here in volume. Again, I just surfed the volume. An upward push, lots of volume, follow up. People got excited, too excited. Again, markets go up and down. So, of course, they're going to correct it down. They build it up to look. That's the thing, too. You can build this sucker to look bullish because you got yourself a nice pendant over here. But it didn't fulfill. It was a little weak. And you know what? Your hint is that the pendant was in pre-post market. We don't like pre and post market manipulation. That doesn't show a true trend. That just shows an illusion. Someone's trying to make you see something. So, pre post market, if this got built in a 2-day period or in the middle of the day, sure, I'll believe it. But because all of this was built in pre-post market, the blue and the yellow, blue is post. So after the market ends, you have those few hours afterwards that all the closing trades happen. And then in the opening, yellow before the day starts around 4:30 a.m., which we have about another Can you see it? No, we have another hour and a half before that happens. You have the rest of it being built. So I don't trust pre and post movements, first and foremost. Second, use TradingView, I think. I'm getting suspicious of it. There's a lot of times where it's buggy, where on critical days, the system just kind of doesn't work. The alerts that you normally want to have, I used to be able to put some alerts on stuff. Now it wants me to pay for it. But then if I go to another account and I put an alert on it and it's a free account and it works, look how many alerts I have on it and I could put more on it. So why is this account able to do alerts, but then this account, they won't let me have alerts? See? It's not very equal system, and I feel like they're playing around with the settings of individuals, especially when you're coming down to like this chat space here. There are a lot of moderation. So I use this as a great sentiment read, so I can kind of like observe the sentiment, or even if even everyone in here, who knows? I consider everyone in here bots. I don't even think they're real, to be 100% honest. I don't think they're real. And I feel like whatever they say, and this guy was going super biblical doomer, so I'm thinking that we're gonna be going heavy upside. There you go. But when you see weird conversations happen in here to try to distract from the main market, things tend to go in the way that the conversation goes backwards on. So this guy's glooming about the Bible and first horseman, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna be negative. I'm gonna be And that's basically a great way to honestly it's made me more money than listening to the chat. So um let's see. Hmm. Anyway, let's see. All right, so what are we at, man? It's been crazy. Like for most of the time, it's been a slow grind up with a quick denial, like over here. It's been switching. Slow grind up, took about 1 day, 4 hours to go up 7%, and that 7% gets eaten up in 5 hours. 5%, but then you can go down here 6, 7%. So there's an interesting case. Psychology, conditioning. Based on how many people in here, especially, speak about a particular direction, you can add that to a statistical data point about what the others that aren't speaking are concluding based on not only the influence, but also the general sentiment. And you can basically counter specific moves that the market's making based on what the general retail space is talking about. You can also do it in Reddit forums and all that stuff, but this is live. This is a genius idea for Mr. TradingView here is to have a completely open conversational sentiment and you have a bot that can calculate on an instant basically what the sentiment is and go against it. So when you're expecting something to happen, be more expectful of it being opposite. That's the key here. But man, okay, so I do want to go into the details of the nitty-gritty here. Let me see. I'm in the volume space now. Let's check a little bit on the blocks. So the blocks look nice. Finally, they've been red for a long time. Now they're getting bought up by green. I'm gonna go back a bit. We do have some huge blocks to pass. So green are buyers, the people that have bought above price. Red are sellers, the people that have bought below price to basically try and get out. And the general idea in the market, right? If you think something's going to go up, you're not worried about paying 5 cents above price because you're probably going to sell it 10 cents above price and make a delta difference of 5. So green bars normally not the most sentiment that we have here is like, oh, green bars mean positive buyers and red bar means negative buyers. No, generally the idea is that you're silent now, probably well right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is one of the counter traders that I work with. Not work with, but I basically counter trade. Anyway, there's a there's like good cop, bad cop mentality in here. So you have to understand each individual's general conversation uh techniques and then identify who's the good cop, who's the bad cop, and then when you match them going backwards upon their own words, that's when things get interesting. Anyway, green bars just mean that somebody bought above asking price, meaning that they expected it to go even further up. Red bars, like these bars here, someone bought below the bid price. So somebody was trying to fearfully get out and sell their shares, and they're willing to sacrifice a couple of cents to leave right away because it's always a buyer looking for a seller. The market is balanced. When there's 10 buyers, there has to be 10 sellers. Unless you're doing naked shorts and some weird other rehypothecations, but that's on a different note. So a green bar, good because expectations of going higher. Red bar, bad because expectations of going lower. But when these bars are already written in stone, we can say that there's more bullish intention in these price points 557, 556, 560 actually, until the red starts popping up. This is a barrier. This means people are selling at this level at a not loss because you don't know what they bought in at, but they're selling it at below price bid on the market. So somebody wants to buy it for somebody wants to buy one share right here. This is 160, wants to buy it for 159. Or even somebody wants to buy a share for 161 because they're optimistic. Then there's another person wanting to sell 100 shares, but they don't care if it's 161 or 160. They just want to get rid of the shares. So it ends up the bidder that's trying to buy or ask at that's a seller. The bidder is trying to ask for a 561, but a large seller dumps shares at 560 or 561 below it, which increases the red bar, which increases the fact that people are selling below the bid price. So big resistance at 560, and not only that, psychological level. Any number ending in zero is psychological. 420 is psychological. 42069 is psychological, for God's sake. Like like markets are just psychological gobbledygook. Like sometimes it makes sense and you can do an evaluation. See, he says bearish trend broken, but I have to disagree. The trend isn't broken. We're re-entering the bearish channel. Okay, let me put my 2 cents. My 2 cents. So this is my little observation here. Oh, let me just post it. Bearish trend broken. What? Do you technicals? Re-entered. Anyway, so dead cat bounces. A fake out looking like we're about to go up, and retail gets excited and emotional, and the news media is like, yeah, let's go, pump the market. And who leaves? It's the big boys that leave. There's your first dead cat bounce. We're gonna have this plenty of times. We're gonna have it here, that's not as good, but then that led off to a huge dump because of tariffs. We're seeing another attempt to go up. We just re-entered, so we got denied, got denied, got denied. Now we're re-entering, but in no way are we bullish right now. We're actually re-entering this downward trend. We might hit a ceiling and then come back down and then play around within these diagonal branches and maybe break back down. We don't know because that was insane. The news will break any trend. Anything that happens that would be fundamental will break a trend. So I don't quite hold my life on a trend, but they do give me hints on where the market wants to go, not where it will go. Sometimes that's a thing too. He's also one that I counter trade because either he's really retarded or he always calls the opposite. Don't know this guy. He just came out of nowhere, started talking about religion, so that's sketchy. Chart Whisperer, haven't seen him for months, but I've seen him recently within the last month. So sometimes you juggle certain usernames. Haven't seen this guy. Peterson, haven't seen this guy. Another digressor, tangenter. I've seen this guy plenty of times, so I may think he's real, but I'm not really sure. I don't ever give anyone uh the default. FOMO futures for sure something odd with him. But that's the thing, like sometimes there are some people like that D guy that just chimes in out of nowhere. I believe that much more. D trades FX too. Because doesn't talk, pops in, says something, then leaves for a long time. Those are the interesting people that actually like have a contribution sometimes when there's some conversation being made. But then these guys over here just constantly spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming and spamming. They seem like bots. They honestly feel like bots. Most of either they're shows, either they're paid to be on here because who the fuck is gonna stand on chat if they're making money and constantly converse? Go to Reddit, go talk to your friends, go on freaking Viber, do something else. Chime in, have a conversation about something useful, and then jump out. Of course, right now it's not even market open. So what are you going to talk about? They're having general conversations. Either people are being paid to be here and they're bored and they're talking a whole bunch of bullshit, or they're actual like bots that are trying to have conversations. Anyway, never answered those questions. Okay, so I guess he's replying to me without actually replying to me, right? Yeah. Fair enough. We all see things differently. SPX looks very much like it has broken the bearish. Y- Can you, I guess, we see charts differently? But how are you gonna tell me even okay, all right. Let's say that even this was not placed correctly because not enough touch points. Then I can move it up here, something like this to be more accurate, but we still haven't reached that reversal of a bearish trade. So what do you mean we see things differently? What about trends do we see differently? Emotionally, maybe. Like if I was to put this, let me see if I can now with more data. Boxes right here is where the boxes are at. With more data, I could potentially lay this out a little bit more accurate. Although it looks like I did it pretty accurately. We had to jump in. We had to jump to the top of the trend. Didn't really make it. Popped above it. Continued on a bearish roller coaster ride. Dropped down. Broke through. But here's where I actually align my boxes. This closed above, this closed below. This one's a little bit off, so maybe I can adjust. It's a very small degree of adjustment here. So close, yeah, right there. See how I sliced through those bodies? And then this one returned us to somewhat of a bullish trend. Bunch of gaps, F the silver. Gaps always have a gravitational pull. And here's another gap attempting to be filled at 554. We've got heavy resistance around 560, which honestly, this line here is a bit better because for sure it'd be 560. If I was to put a, where's 560? Right here? Yeah, okay. Bounced above, had none of the, well, this one closed above the 560, then immediately broke below 560. Then it tried to go up, but got stuck at 560, literally. What's the closing here? 559.99. That's the thing that you look for, man. It closed at 559.99. So there's your resistance. There's a huge support resistance on 560. And then this one broke low at 559.63, but then closed at 561.53. Do want to kind of like zoom in for you, but sometimes it gets just so complex or so cluttered with all the indicators. I like to just zoom all the things out. Let me see how it looks like. At least the text. Yeah, you can see the text, even though it's in a small little window here. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. That's not bad. Just making sure. Oh, interesting day, man. So tariffs are going crazy. People are having a hard time finding jobs. The housing market is starting to get a little shaky. I think Florida and Texas are kind of starting to have some issues. What was it? That website, R, R, no. I forgot the website for it. There's this analysis website. It'll pop in my head eventually. So we just had the longest uptrend. I get it. Everyone's super excited, but this is the conditioning. This is the conditioning of everything always goes up until it doesn't. And it's the last moment when things break apart in which people are still like buying the dip on something that they shouldn't be buying the dip on. Do you don't understand what Valhalla pumps mean? Some people. Okay. I got some allergies or something, so excuse the noises. Lo siento. I've been you know. Anyway, so we've had that long trend. We saw the long trend and we just adjusted the downtrend. If you've known any, or if you've seen my previous videos, or if you know a little bit of trading, you know that these trends do break down always. It just takes time, and we have to have some consistency and the interaction from the bottom of this trend, the very bottom line. Here we didn't really reach it. We bounced away, recovered. Uh, and then there's a kind of halfway point that's interesting too. I think I just messed it up. Hold up. I hate when it does the automatic adjustments. Okay, so the halfway of the trend also has this sort of bounce capability. So here's the halfway middle point, bounced off of that. And most of the time I use this for general market movement because you can split a big trend into two smaller trends, right? They're all with the same slope and everything. So there's the top of the trend and there's the bottom. In a bull market, you want to be up top, you're constantly bullish. When you break below that midpoint trend, then you start really taking a look at time and sheets. Start looking at, let me actually open that up. Not that there's anything happening before market open, but I can be ready. Time and sales, you start looking at the bid tree, the papes, what is it? Bid and ask spread, all kinds of things like that. Ladder, etc., etc., etc. And things can get very whiplashy very quick. What the heck? Why did my stuff change? What do you mean? Hello? Do I have to resave it? That's unfortunate. Okay. I should buy some GROY. Gold is coming back on a big moment. Let's see. So, come on. Not what I wanted to do. So if you want a good cheap stock, it's basically gold, because you might want gold and silver. GROY is a good one. Gold royalty. Heavily undervalued. Have a great amount of holdings. Fundamentally, they're pretty sound. They're reaching a very strong bottom. Very strong bottom. Cannot go below 116. Has a great bounce back reversal at 120. And yeah, it's been a broken down stock for a long time. I mean, not really a long time. Not GROY. 21? Yeah, fair. NP Materials, kind of an overall manufacturer material play. I've been watching this for a while too. Pretty decent buy at 25. We did definitely make some higher lows right there. It's been fluctuating back and forth. It broke out on initial offering. 47's a big one. This was after. See, materials is where to go when you're having a recession risk. Materials are always needed for actual physical products, not digital services. So when you want to manufacture, when you need, or in the case of the dollar weakening, that might be a case here too, actually. What if I add, where be? Let's check DXY. Hmm. Yeah, there was a weakening effect for the dollar and then it popped, but it's been strengthening. Yeah, there we go. So dollar going up, strengthening. Then you have a decrease or a downtrend in materials. And then when dollar, let's see, dollar strengthening and materials going up, that's interesting, but a fake out. So there it is, dollar weakening, materials going up in the final. It's not always 100% trend. Sometimes you can have delayed movements, but noticing here, dollar weakening, materials popped in this case. But then again, we had a lot of a weird, a frothy market, one would say. Short squeezes is another case scenario. But when you have a lot of participants with a lot of derivatives in the market and rehypothecation and leverage two, three times, oh, it just gets very messy. So you find some pops like this, some kind of basing at those values until you see some huge dumps. But hey, If you're following the general trend, huge volatility, there's your bear channel. Of course, it'll go down. So just because we kept returning to this bear channel and kept, even though we made higher highs, sure, I get it. It is a higher high. It seems bullish. And you're like, holy crap, look at this. We're going to the moon. And you get knocked down. So as soon as you return back after such huge pops, if you can't sustain a topwards bounce on top of the trend, and every time we go up, we just break down, that's a hint you're getting liquidated. They're using your emotions and then kicking you down. Using your emotions, kicking you down. So these are the specific trends you want to watch, especially here. This was your final exit. If you didn't want to lose money, even if you bought at highs, you could have lost 10 bucks versus over here, which is now 30 bucks. So knowing and seeing that we just hit this resistance and it got denied, bye-bye, right? So now, and then we had a very long downward trend here. Very bullish to see it bounce off the middle of the trend, go up. I mean, it's not very bullish, but it's bullish enough to know that you're about to break out, especially as you get down. The distance between this and this and this, the low here and the low here, pretty similar distance. 10% versus here. 10%. So as you keep seeing 10% downwards, this one's 15%, a bit more. And you're going to see some acceleration in the downtrend, 20%. And then finally, you find the distance between this 7%. This was nice. The distance of the low from here to the distance of the low here is just 7%. Then you check the next one. 10%. Fine, maybe we get faster again. But then this one's very interesting. You don't really see it, but this to this, 4%. So you're starting to not just go down heavily and increase in acceleration, but you start to waver. Sometimes we go down a bunch, then we just kind of little bit. But when you start seeing a kind of stabilization effect, even if you go down, this one was 18, this was like a very low. And of course, the lower you go, the price, especially here, look at this price from way over here. Who wouldn't buy this in IPO? Anything, especially if it's already been up there. Great rebuy. Imagine buying it here, selling up here. You made 10. You bought it for 10. You sold it for 60, 50? 50 here, 60 here if you were if you were courageous enough to hold. And then that 60, you bought 6 of them now, or 6 times what you bought originally. But you'd have to wait 3 years, 4 years. These are long plays, the long cons. Anyway, we broke out of this long downward trend on NP material. We have a lot of downward structure here in the volume profile. So a lot of demand with some small gaps, but not enough. We don't want to go below 12 again because then we effed. Probably a lot of confidence will get destroyed. Weird choppy trends. This one, I mean, this one's a megaphone to be honest. Then they can go both ways. A megaphone can turn into a diamond pattern if it takes too long, which then would be a immediate downward exit. At least I don't sneeze and crap of allergies, but it's still disgusting, and I'm sorry. I'm just very stuffy, is the proper way to express the feeling I have right now. Not sick, just stuffy. Hey, hey, where's my volume profiles? Did I just delete them with middle click? When was middle click a delete button? Hello? Gosh. All right, well, now you get to see me put these back up. All right, so VP volume profile. I have to, no, I didn't save though, right? Yeah, I didn't save my volume space, so let me refresh. I hope. Don't save it for me. Okay, good. Interesting. Okay. Well, if you middle click, you erase stuff from your chart, so care. So basically, yeah, I got a bullish volume profile, straight up set up as a green, and then the bullish delta type, and then bearish, same idea, red, bearish delta type. And when they combine, they make the yellow. So you can essentially take a closer look at the structure of each of these. Seller dominated, blocks below, meaning they sold below ask price. But honestly, sometimes I attribute that to retail selling when volatility increases. However, if we complete this diamond pattern, might be a nice rebuy down at volume profile 16. So I'd be looking at that. We did a good bounce here, but it wasn't strong. This was not a strong bounce. We may need to do a quick tap and then bounce back up. Then we can confirm this location. This is a long-term location too, because this will be way over here from IPO. Bounce on top of the IPO valuation. Because here we tried, broke down, tried again, tried just constantly playing around this, died off, tried. If we touch this one more time, we're not seeing this again. Touch. Not spend a couple of days down here, literally a day or two, and touch and bounce. That's what I'm looking for MP. Oh, the SPY, similar concept here, long-term upward. Then you got yourself your breakdown. So we've re-entered. The Japanese yen is, that's the one thing I'm really trying to keep an eye on here. This is the kind of toxic shit that happens in chat sometimes. I hope you're watching what's going on. I'm not. Sometimes I'm not. Uh, Sometimes I like to go. We need when things like that happen, when just random tangents happen, people are like all over the subject spectrum. There's no cohesive thought happening in these chats. You know, something is unexpected about to happen. Or at least for my case, it's volume hunting. You know, volume is going to go crazy and you want to trade during these times. Not regular shares, options. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you can learn, man. Learning options, learning trading, total possibility. Just got to find your sources. I'm not a professional, but I do know how to make money off of options and trading through technicals and fundamentals. But again, I don't think I'm confident enough to teach it. If someone's like wants to learn, sure, but I have no guarantees. This is not like, oh, learn how to be quick rich. I can tell you how to invest for the long term, just like anyone can. Just find something stable and stick with it. In this case, real estate, because the market's crazy. So anything real estate related will be very useful. Specifically residential real estate. I think commercial real estate's going to have some problems. But if you do residential builders, residential contractors, all kinds of stuff like this, you'll be fine. So SP. So we're kind of stuck. We're stuck between, and here's the thing I forgot to mention. We've got two gaps now. See, why are you doing this? They didn't used to do the snapping feature. Stop snapping. I don't want your snaps. So we're stuck between two gaps. One of them, if filled soon, actually, if filled later, not even soon, the longer it takes and it gets filled, the higher chance we're going to end up above the trend. So this particular trend here, we want to break above it, tap it for a nice goodbye touch, and then we break out. So if we waited a couple of days to base around inside here, Maybe go like this, fill the bottom gap so it's not a problem anymore. Fill the top gap, then we can have a nice upward momentum and a big overall higher low. And then we can see something up here, like 600s again. Potentially a new ATH all-time high, but then potentially we'll be entering a previous channel here. So this bearish or bullish channel could play a big part, either as a we haven't tested it, so that's interesting. We haven't actually tested the bottom of this huge upward channel that we've been in for years now. Bearish divergence channel. Bullish channel, but bearish because it should technically drop out of it in the downward bearish direction at some point. That some point is where your predictability is gonna either make you money or lose you money. But as long as you don't place yourself in the wrong position, you should be all right. So if we do get a nice movement here, because again, it can go either direction, we just got to watch the trend. I don't predict. And yeah, honestly, you can say you react. I react. I react to the trend. So if we go down now, I will not be scared, especially if I see this, because then we make ourselves a nice bullish pendant, break up, can make another bullish pendant, break up, and then you can be like, all right, hey, what might happen? We might find our way up slowly to another tap over here on the bottom of this bullish channel. Because normally what happens, we do have a test. Sooner or later, previous channels have to get tested. And in this case, this one had broke out. There was no real 3-bar test on the daily, meaning that after 3 bars, you break down, then you maybe test it again later. This second part here never happened. So it looks like we might have the chance for it to happen again. But if this doesn't hold and we don't make an upward in, we don't go into that channel again and base nicely on top of the channel, potentially have some nice volatility bringing us up, down, etc., to kind of align ourselves within this previous bullish channel, we're going to have a huge rejection, like absolutely chaotic rejection. So that's my considerable potential. I'm not betting on that. That's a very long timeline to bet on. All I'm betting on is small puts, not even that small. 546 to 529, that's a $15 delta. Pretty decent, especially when IV goes down. So potentially we're going to base a little bit, then drop down, fill this gap. And for the bullish case scenario, after that fill, we're going to go up here and attempt to fill this. So whether this works, step number 1, and then step number 2, whether these two cases arrive, then I'll bet on the next step 3. But I'm not counting my ducks. I'm watching here. I'm playing the trend maybe a week in advance, potentially a couple of days in advance, because the volatility is insane right now. So give or take, you know? Can't bet the eggs before they hatch. But considering these gaps, it's very interesting. The worst case scenario would actually be completely opposite. We approach to fill the top, fail, re-enter the trend down, get stuck, try to go back up, fake out, break down, play around in the empty gap, fill that up nicely, and then we're back in the downward trend. Bear market continues. That is potentially what I'd expect from a natural moving market, but I've noticed that naturality in the market is not real. The larger players in the market tend to really judge that direction, and bots, the consistency of bots being applied. So because these two gaps are very technical, bots can want to fill the top, overwhelming the market makers and the general big money decision makers. because bots moving in an algorithm is more dangerous than big money individuals moving with trends. So it depends if the bots catch this gap first or this gap first. I mean, two completely different trends can happen. So we fill this breakdown. We don't want to fill the top first. That's my kind of consideration here. We don't want to fill the top first. We want to fill the bottom first, get that out of the way, base nicely, jump up. Then fill the top, then we're free for the next. We want to build a positive trend. We don't want to fulfill a negative trend. So that's why I'm not in SPY right now. Just watching. I might enter soon based on the next candle. But for sure, I'm playing my DJT over here. I'm gonna do a little more on the Trump technicals. Let's see what's happening with Trumpy. Mr. Trumpy, causing chaos in the markets. Chaotic, chaotic. And interestingly enough, this is kind of working with crypto. Let's look at the total on crypto. Trump trade and crypto trades are starting to kind of like be hand in hand over here. Look at that. Sure, we had a big pop here in Trump without craziness, and hey, buyers or sellers that sold on this could have just bought the crypto market to pump it. But I don't think it's enough liquidity to do that, not in this case. But ever since maybe here, we do see a downtrend in both, and then a nice little pump here and a nice little pump here. And we know Trump wants to get into the crypto world. He has his own coin, so there could be a sense of influence there. But we are at a stable location. In fact, we may see a small dip here because we had such a big blow up. We could create a nice little bear trend here. Potentially base a little bit, knock out this particular 25 resistance. A couple of days, not too crazy. And then blow off again out into the next ranges, which will probably be somewhere around the high here, local high, and resistance. So call it a combination of resistance over here and high over here. So we want to break, we could make a 32 hit within the next month. I'm just playing the ups and downs right now. I, I've made money on my ups. Now I'm going to make some slight change on the downs and potentially, eventually, this exhaustion of volatility in here is going to kill the prices on options, and then I'll re-enter some calls. But I mean, 300%. That was a good call on DJT. I'm not even playing with big money. I'm making big money from small money. $400 account that's now 1.2K. So that's nice. And I'm kind of rediversing. I'm going into crypto. I'm going into MP. Those are my long-term plays. GROY. I am going into AMD as well because I feel like NVIDIA is really gonna be having some competition. Recently, there was a video that I should probably go over as far as a React goes, where Gamer Nexus, oh, I hate this. They completely blocked my Chrome browser from activating on YouTube, which is weird. Maybe they don't like Chrome anymore because it's not, or sorry, Opera. Keyboard and mouse. Ooh, can I make a Guitar Hero using only a guitar? That's cool. I'll have to watch that little coding sec there. Gamer Nexus, this here, the switcheroo, shrinkflation, yeah. So basically,
50 with an embarrassing
Price point wise, nothing has really changed as far as price points on certain models. But if you look at the performance, ever since the 30 series, the RTX 30, performance has gone down on the 40 series. 4080 for instance. 3080 is probably the best. I have a 3070, so I'm kind of in the midpoint here. I should have got a 3080. That's like a double, man. 3080 is crazy. But nah, ever since the 30 series, performance has decreased. They're shrinkflationing our graphics cards right now, boys and girls. And they're probably doing all those cute little uh ray tracing and blurry effects to make your GPU FPS go up to 100, even though it looks like a blurry piece of shit. They're doing all these extra layers of obfuscation of visual graphics and then reducing the hardware. So they're letting the driver optimize whatever given graphics you have with some blur or with some crap so that they can reduce the hardware while still charging you a pretty penny with the inflation included. 3080s, man. Damn. I mean, twice the power, twice this price, but damn. So, Nvidia's playing some what's the word? Cutting the cutting the fat cutting the fat, cutting their edges, cutting so I said it somewhere else a bit more intellectually. They're having financial troubles, or at least they're trying to optimize their revenue, and they're giving away performance for the same price. So you're buying 12 eggs, but now those 12 eggs cost you 3 times as much. Same deal, shrinkflation. You buy the same or more money for less actual feasible product. So that's why I'm going into AMD specifically, slowly building my position. And anytime I say going into, it's not like take my money, let's go. It's like a 10%. I see it going down. I'll grab a little bit here. I'll take a nibble here and there. It's never this extreme get it now or forever hold your peace sort of case scenario. That's what chat's about here. That's why I watch chat to see what to buy and what to sell. Because when I get so emotionally connected, they basically not only give off their trades to the scrapers that are literally reading their chat all the time, and then potentially creating some sort of sentiment value that big companies are using to base their AI off of. TradingView probably making so much money from that scrape. Buy the dip. Maybe. You don't know that. Still, you don't know. See, buy the dip, sell the rip, whatever. It doesn't matter. Uh, Anytime someone uses bear or bull, I know they're biased. That's it. I don't use bear, I don't use bull. I take my trends, I show what I see, and let it rip or let it dip. I don't care. I'm gonna bet in the right direction either way because I'm watching it. Active trading is active trading. You can't just make money buying one thing and then let it go. If you're trying to make some money quick, options, you don't want to do a zero date of expiry because you can and you can blow up your account. I've done that multiple times. But you still need like if you buy a week, you're probably selling tomorrow. Something that expires a week, you probably want the move to happen tomorrow so you can really benefit from the volatility and the lack of decaying delta. But I'd probably buy 3, 4 weeks. Those are the ones that I've noticed that I've made most money off. Finding a low IV, intervolatility, but also finding some stock that will bear a good move. Because otherwise, if you buy it on anything, you're not going to make money off of it unless you know there's going to be something interesting happening. So that's really like, how do you know? What do you do? Well, you do stuff like figuring out some specific EMA crossovers that are nice for you. Um, Here we have some pretty big movements. OST, 32%. That's probably gonna get faded down now in the long term. Pretty low. I'll actually take a look at this. This is a pretty full list right now, man. Oh, it's nice. And sometimes come over here if I don't have any ideas to take a look at some potential ideas. Uh, some health stuff in here. All right, health is coming back. There's some metal, some materials happening. And this is just my screener. It's how I set up my screener to basically look for some interesting attention stocks, something that has a lot of currently incoming volume with some interesting price action for upside, and then I have the opposite for downside. So in this case, wow. Wow, nothing's going down on an extreme level. Hold up. Maybe my caps are a little messed. Let's do 0. Let's do apply that to this. Yeah, there we go. GLD gold mining. GLDG. I did hear about that somewhere. Gold winning. Interesting, interesting. I might have to do some extra analysis. Just gonna be chilling here doing some analysis until the market opens anyway. If anyone's in chat, I do apologize because I'm not paying attention. Just speaking, speaking, speaking. Speak chillin'. Mm. So yeah, I want to really take a look at that, but I'm still analyzing DJT. We'll be back to the screener. Okay, so that's the 1-day potential prediction. My resistances are on point. We've played around these bottoms. We broke out of them very quickly, honestly. We had a denial, we had a breakout with a lower low. That's so weird breaking out with a lower low. This is where, like, when we do this kind of strong movement at a very low, it makes me think people are trying to get in or trying to cover something. Because a lot of times you can be short from here, 30, and then sell your shorts here and you cause a rally. So it's almost like, yeah, it is a lower low, but look at that pump. That's like a 20% a day. Yeah. So you get like a 3 week span. 3 week, you can capture this, you can capture these. Or what you capture this, you sell it, right? Get your money, wait for this random dip, and then be like, it's pretty flat. Doesn't look weak. Get more calls. Boom, capture this. That's where I captured. I didn't capture this big bar, but I captured these at the flatness. 300%, even though it only went up 39. I multiplied that by not by 10 using options. Mm. So it looks very promising. It really does. I swear sometimes the questions are like, geez, what is the diagnosis of SPX at the moment? Yeah, let me tell you what I'm analyzing. At least come to my channel, watch me for the views. Sheesh. Oh, they moderated. Mew. You guys are pull up poo. See, that's kind of weird stuff, man. That's kind of weird stuff. But then I cannot basically now go to YouTube and do the same thing, and they'll let me share my YouTube screen, YouTube link, which is like okay. So not even the analysis here. Hold on. How did this work? Get the link for the freaking live. Sure, there it is. I don't even care anymore. It's so much effort just to do that. Whatever. Honestly, I don't even feel like it only because the more eyes, the more weirdness happens. Um, there's a YouTuber called Matt Kohrs who basically trades on an Apex account. They give him money to trade. So they incentivize him to put his particular take on the market into the market. And he's a very big retail like trader. Like he's an advanced retail trader, but his perspectives are very retail based and his audience is very retail based. So then you just take that code he gives you, Matt Kohrs, and now they can tag anyone that basically makes an Apex account and trades with that Apex account as a retail trader. And boom, you got yourself a whole data set of people that are doing essentially the same thing, plus or minus the actual worst of the retail traders. There's no reason to be giving people free money to trade if you're not going to benefit from it somehow. So, like, nothing's free, and they just serve as a data point, in my opinion. So, yeah, we're all just data points here, in my opinion. In my opinion. There's really nothing else, man. We just gotta wait. Just gotta wait, see what fills. All right, so DJT already did some decent. That's all I can do for now until we get through this point and see if we can actually break not only 32, but we can break out of 30. Oh, 30 is a big one too. I mean, that's a psychological level for sure. So potentially that's a place we're gonna watch. Very quiet. Well, that's interesting. So nothing there. I don't care anymore. Gold mining. Let's see what's going on here. Gold mining, gold mining. What's the overall trend? Is it one of those puke fests that happen to be puking for years and years and years and years? No. I mean, okay, the highest it's ever gotten is $3, but at a 78 cent valuation, not bad, ain't it? Currently. Okay. So let's kind of work our way back. I see an interesting trend that broke down, but it didn't go as down as it could have. It's basing right here. People buying that sucker up. Huge volume spikes on the buy up of these candles. This one, no. Here. Oof. Here, buying it, buying upwards, and then breaking it back down because they don't want to, they still want to buy more at the cheap level. Fine. Yeah, every time we get to this downward, look how it activates, man. Every time we get down here, check out that activation of volume. Here, activation of volume. Here it was weird. It's kind of in the middle. Actually was here breaking out. So I guess this prompted their potential breakout. And they're like, no, 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 kill it, kill it, kill it. Went down. And then this time they didn't really buy anything. They were like, wait for it, wait for it. But then they like got impatient. So they almost got another bullish run. But the volume is technically increasing over time. That's nice. And over here, kind of quiet, quiet, but still, I mean, looking at the average buying or the average volume here versus the average volume over here, like it's double, if not triple what it used to be. So the volume has consistently increased underneath this bearish trend, meaning is a Y hasn't gotten down below 78 cents. So somebody is buying it up on the tiny little valuations there. So that's cool. I do like it. I did hear about some interactions with DLDG and GROY. Was GROY another one? Let's take a look at GROY real quick. Now I can expand my little analysis. Yeah, now I can give a discussion because these are things that I haven't quite done much in. I don't like giving out my secrets. Welcome, welcome if you're joining. You'll be on TV, literally TV. If you're on the TV, on your television, watching the stream, and you're on TradingView chat, you'll be on the TV twice, squared. Welcome. Enjoy my tank top. All right, anyway, so as far as GROY goes, we did a decent bottom. See, this is what I like to see. I like to see some big dips, huge dips. Let me actually go back. Hold on. GROY, 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 GROY. High is 7. We had a drop down here in trend. I like to go backwards sometimes, but let's kind of see the history of GROY. Had a drop. Let me see DXY total crypto. Commodities went up. No, let's do gold itself. So yeah, there was a peak in gold drop, so GROY drop. There's a kind of play around the edges here. Although the upward movement here that kind of saved GROY. So GROY is kind of not a huge player in gold, but there could be potential growth in the future. And them basing at this bottom of 110 is very, very peculiar for me. I like to see attempts to go below with failure. So that's nice. $7. We had a downward channel. Very quick downward channel. But then you got a huge negative. Down 60%. That sucks. But then, all right. And then you go from top here to bottom here, then down another 60. But then that's the basing point. Now we haven't really gone further down. Let's check some technicals. Got the adjustments they do here. Here we go. Yesterday, gold royalty sees 1Q Q1 revenue. Okay, but what about the overall? There was a beat here. That's nice. It was negative, and it may still have a negative course, but it's not as negative as you would expect for something so cheap right now, based on its valuations before. Ooh, well, royalty and mineral streaming interests. Yeah, the interest is gaining. Country, Canada, Brazil, United States, Mexico. Are these involved in GRI? Go focus royalty mineral streaming interests. Okay. So just for the factor that we're looking at a lot of interest in gold recently because the market's a little bit, well, the market's going to be the market. You're going to have your hopium and your doomers. So regardless, not enough dividends, but this is a comfort zone for a lot of investors. If they see dividends, they're happy about it, but it's not always a give or take, especially not for a rebounding stock that is becoming better. Okay. The value of the enterprise has been consistent. That huge drop in 22, basing at 100, 200 million, climbing slowly. The valuation's pretty decent for the whole company. The overall shares outstanding. Hmm. More entering the market. Not happy about that. Total revenue 10, 3, 3. I mean, that's a big old bump on the hump, dude. Look at that. That's huge. So, I mean, we're consistently going up by 200s in the last 4 quarters. 2024. We don't even know Q1 yet, potentially. That's a good sign. So I'm definitely looking forward to GROY. That's potentially why the last 4 quarters, 2024, meaning that it did not go down below this value here. It's been hanging here because people are starting to see interest in GROY. So me gusta. GROY, and then the other one was what? Gold mining, GLDG. That one, again, volume increase that these under trend attempt to push it down below 78 cents, but it's not doing so good on that case. So yeah, sure, it's going down. It's a negative gamma to it, but let me check my positive gamma. Yeah, let's save those changes. Positive gamma, OST, I know this guy. That's not a good one. Look at that. Damn, how many splits have there been? Since when? 22, 3 years, and that happens? It goes from 400 and something to crap. Nah, I don't trust. But damn, look at that fucking volume candle. What is that? What in the hell? What in the hell is that volume candle? 120 million? Someone closing something, man. Someone's holding on to something they shouldn't be holding on. If you know what I mean, Jelly Bean. Damn. And then the next candle was a crappy small to that particular case, but it's still 3.3 million. So 120 mil from 220 thou. So you're telling me it went from 225,000 to 130 mil in a week as far as traded shares? Look at that sucker. This day was insane. 107. And it was a daily. So what did it do? It went from 99 cents to 400% bump. Okay. So now we got, look at that. Look at all that buy-in. Buying above price. Like I said, these blocks are amazing. These volume profile blocks show you when they're buying above price. Then they try to nullify it here with selling below a little bit. But no, it's still strong, kind of. I mean, we got a nice bottom out. Are we going to be building some cup and handles up in here? I haven't seen those in the ancient times of the 2020s, man. The ancient days of short squeezes. This might be an interesting one. OST. Do I want to go DGen again? Do I want to go absolute DGen? I don't know. We'll have to think about it. So, all right, OST is interesting. 30% candle. I mean, the EMAs are basically flopping up. Don't have them here, but it's just my volume analysis. It's my favorite of analyses. We are in the middle. We are basing on the POC. We're bouncing off the POC of the bearish volume profile, which is great. Now, if we use that with coordination of a potential channel being built here, bullish channel, sure, we might dip a little bit for momentum building, but then we would slice through that with the exit of that channel. And then we would make our freaking cup. Oh, okay. I like that. I'll keep that in mind. Actually, I'm gonna put a note over here. Hold up. This is the kind of technicals I love to see. Love it, love it, love it. I might go a little degen. Just a little bit. Just a itty bitty 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 bitty. Couple of maybe bucks. 20, 30. Couple of bucks. You know what I mean? He's an itty bitty degen. We got some options? No, look at that. You guys don't like options. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. 1 month. So that's crazy. This was within 2, 3 weeks time span. But okay, let's say we do this. What's the potential for the next leg up? Let's see if it's worth it. Well, it ripped through in this bar, got stopped right here. So that's 389 upside. So that's about a, yeah, it's about a 50 cent upside. See, in regular shares, it ain't that much. If they had some options open, it would be very delicious. But that would be a huge mega. Look at that. That actually bounced down here. Before that was above. So if it actually breaks four, that's not the only. But that's a big if. At that point, if it gets up to here, it could create a double top and then boom, we go down. But if another 100 million or some shit come in a single day, oh, this was 8 million. Oh, wait, hold up. I'm looking, right? Yeah, 120 mil. 107 mil. This was 2 mil, 8 mil. Hold up. On the 4 hour, none of these add up. This is 8 mil and 2 mil. That's 10 mil. Where'd the 100 million go? There's literally 100 million in this one daily candle on April 15th. 107 million shares, volume. Top left underneath the cell of this chart. Not the above chart, but this one particular. But when I zoom into 4 hours, all of a sudden, what are you talking about 100 mil? It's actually 8 plus 2, 10 mil. That seems like a little bit odd. These bars don't add up at all. Okay, 11 mil with this negative bar. But then there's just back to K, so something's weird. Something doesn't add up, which makes me even want to go more into this. Every time there's some weird oddities in data, should be on your radar. Yeah, I like it. I don't know how far I like it to, but I like it at least up to $3, $4. I can say that much. I like it to $4, and then I'll check and see what the rest of this is gonna do. Because then that would mean we're cleaning up some huge wicks over here. These wicks, horrible, very bearish. But with this pop, we already cleared a little bit of those wicks right up to this point. And that's a lot of hefty volume. So if that continues, we clear these wicks, we can easily go above four. I'm not hopium here. I'm just looking at that particular case scenario. AMBP. A lot of medical stuff happening. Okay. Up to POC, you got two case scenarios. Not that great. Your risk, 20%. Your reward, 7. I wouldn't take it yet. I would check and see what the trend is here. If we base on a nice pendant, sure, I'll consider it. But it would have to be a pretty big pendant. It wouldn't even be this small. It would be. Nah, see, it's already showing weakness in the after hours. It had a pendant. It actually did have a nice pendant. After hours brought it down. Sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. But this was what? 280. Yeah, it's not that big of a pump. It's gonna be 30% here. What's the overall history? Mm, nothing good. Oh, jeez. What? Okay, it's only $21. Sometimes you gotta survive by just splitting your stock, man. Keep splitting, keep splitting. Ooh, what kind of bar is that? Look at this sucker, dude. Weirdest. That's a week, all right. Weirdest opening bar. Is this IPO? Or is this just when the data started popping up? Damn. 20 to 10. Okay, well, no. Okay, this would normally unknown stocks open up at 10 equal. So if they IPO at 20 and someone bought it at 20, how many volume? Yeah, 300K. Let me see what the 30-minute looks like. Oh, I don't want to go all the way there. Eh, eh. Yeah, they're not gonna show me. Are they? 21? No, they're not gonna show me that value. They want me to pay money for bull crap. I have Weeble. I don't need your TV bullshit and your fake information. You're abusing your stance as the leading, indicating technical trading, chart, charting system. You'll eventually be replaced. Don't worry. But this bar, very odd. 10 million. But 10 million is not much on a 1 million a day. Sometimes you get some 1.7 million. Sometimes you get a good 5 million. Over here we had 18 million. So that's not abnormal. I wouldn't really do much here. Grail. Hello. Hey, what you doing over here? Do you just find a super bottom? So someone said a Valhalla bottom or whatever the fuck kind of bullshit they're talking about in chat. Um, well, I see two trends here. And then the halfway mark in the full, based on top, popped up, left up. Nah, looks like another case for a lower, because we generally want to exit down. So it could just be up and down, up and down. I mean, you could have a quick play up to 60. If there's options involved here, welcome me in. I will gladly play. Yeah, look at that. You guys got some options, huh? You guys got some options? Got some options for me? A May. Pretty decent value or movement. But that's it. Not much. 50? 60? Can I bet? Can anyone bet that this is gonna go to and May 16 go up to here? I mean, it did pretty big. Volume picking up, maybe? Was dying off. It picked up a little, died off, picking up, died off. I don't like it. It seems like very hypey. They're just pumping up some volume for a breakdown. So someone's gonna be like, oh, we can go up higher. And then this ends up being the top and then you lose money. So I don't know. I have to keep watching this. Kind of like it. I mean, specifically because it has some options I can take part of. Hmm. But I still don't know. I don't think that's an immediate play for me right now. Healthcare, services, group. Oh, lots of weird stuff happening, yeah? Market's getting a little frothy. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. A little bit of froth. Little bit of frothy. Oh, let me do this. Doom, pop it over here. 2 days. Decreasing volume, but it's not that much of a decrease, so that's not crazy, crazy. They love to pop in with a huge volume, get whatever they can out, and then get quiet in a couple of days and a nice, in a nice, nothing to see here, guys. That kind of trend. So they're gonna reduce the volume for the next couple of days, but they do tend to pop off, and this isn't the only time they popped off. So we got a decent bottom. We're playing around PLV. It got, I mean, just for the fact that it gapped up on the PLV, sounds like they were pressing it down, but something popped it up. Because if it was down PLV and it kept going down, sure, but because it popped up, it's like a rubber band, yo. PLV was holding it down technically, but then something came in and broke that technical. We had a higher high. Sure, we can exclude this one because then this one would be the higher high. So tune. Oh, higher low, sorry. You get the idea. You see what I'm doing here. Uh, so they might die it off, but it could also, does it have a tendency to do a nice couple of candles? Up, nothing, up. Yeah, it does. It does. It has poppiness. Pops up, goes down, pops up again in different values, volume, I guess, locations. Popped here, popped here. But that was under control. These were small pops because the volume was pretty decent. Here, here, well, the volume is not too different. Still about average. But then this was interesting. I mean, we're looking at 3 mil from how much? 200K, 700K, 300K, not 200. Yeah. So basically about average 500K. This one popped up 3 mil and then 2 mil the next day. The candles look nice. Low wicks, upper body has a big momentum up feeling to them. So, pretty decent. Well, the next case is, can I short this? Can I go up and down? Can I straddle this motherfucker? I can. Now, that's a nice one to watch because there's double side potential. There's some gaps being played. Although you can't be sure that any of these are going to fill, but that's a nice gap to catch. But that could be diversion from 9 to 10 because we could be going up to the next possibility of the other gap fill over here. We could fill this gap at 14 before we go down. Any other gaps? Ooh, you don't want it to fill here. Someone's got shorts and we're filling up to here. They're going to get burnt very badly. They just left a shit ton of gaps on this one. Holy crap. I mean, and okay, this one got filled. Those got. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I like the gap plays. I will tell you, I really like the gap plays, no matter the technicals. Gap plays they always feel like there was some inconsistency in something that happened, and they're just making up for that fill. There's always a fill on the right of a gap. That one's filled, so there's nothing else to talk about there. This one didn't go down continuously. It filled up like very quickly. Just because it doesn't fill immediately doesn't mean it's never going to fill. This one, couple of days. I mean, this one filled a year later from 30 down to 20 up to 30 a year later. Here, interesting. We're playing with some fire. So I'm going to watch this gap fill at 14. A decent call to participate in. Just for that 14 mark, 15 mark, what's the intraday look like? Damn, this came from what? No, that's not bad. Nine bucks to 13. I mean, if it's out of control, then you're looking at some very quick fills and probably pre or post market. So then I'm just gonna miss any chance I get anyway. Once it's filled in pre or post, or your post particular pre in this case, because post didn't do much. Post it just hung up there. That's weird. I mean, it's normal. I've seen it. But yeah, it hangs up only to open down the next time around. So I guess in pre we might open down and have a gap up potentially to fill up to 1461, 1440. Mind you, all of these are just very volatile plays. They have had an influx of volume spiking, and thus we're looking at some pretty intense plays. Oh, so I kind of have some targets. I do like these three. I'm gonna do a quick little choop, momentary snap here. Add it to some work trading notes. Most recent notes available here. I'm gonna play some music because I'm chilling. I'm chilling. 11:25. Oh, looking at two time zones. 5 minutes and the pre-market opens up. So let's chill a bit. If not already. Probably want to look at DJT here. Ooh. Donde? Alright, so we're looking at this. So we're really looking for that, yeah. It's starting to look a little bit like it does want to go down. Yeah, there it is. Fighting with the bearish POC. Alright, well I'm just gonna chill it here for a bit. All right. Got more coffee. So it seems, I think I'm ready for a little. So they're breaking it down, kind of bouncing off the bottom here. Oh, update to the volume profile. Hello. Okay, 1 minute's too short. 5 minute. It's about right. So you got to break down. I mean, the one thing that I got out of my longs was somewhere over here. There was a 190,000 shares worth of sells at 2660, I think it was. Posted on that. Let me see. 2630. This block here was like, all right, we're done for now. As soon as I saw this block, I was like, GG, well played. Let's make our money. And I dipped out of there quicker than put in derogatory streetwalker meme here. VIX is calming down, 26, but I don't like to look at technicals for VIX because it's just basically volatility. It changes on a whim. Ugh. So SPY looks balanced on the time and sales order book level 2. DJT looks very sell heavy. A lot of 1,000 packs, blocks. But still, they're like on a tree that goes up to 27. Still not good enough. Those are just the pre-market apes trying to get as much as they can, even though it's probably not going to hit. 2620. 26. I mean, big gap. We're at 2584, 26. We could base up to 290 and then drop again. But it could just be a wall. This could be just a large ass wall preventing any unexpected flow of trades. Okay, now with the music, let me check this. Stream, because sometimes when I add extra audio, you can't really hear me. I'm barely here. All right. Can increase the audio on the music a little bit. Too much? Yeah, it's not bad. Okay. So 29. I could touch 29 here as a ceiling and then get rejected. What's the sentiment over here? Oh, poor gold lovers. It's coming back. Mixed feelings over here. What's gold doing? Why are they watching gold? It's under POC of the volume. It did make a higher low, but also made a lower low. Is that a head and shoulder? Reversed? Maybe. Depends on technicals, depends on the dollar. Let's do DXY. DXY is still under 100. This is not good signs. I don't like when DXY lags or fails to break out from a critical location. Yeah, man, look at that. It's just 100 underneath, staying there. This drop really does hard. TLT. Treasuries being bullish, huh? Ooh, wow. I mean, that's a big pump in. Still below POC, so not that strong. Downward channel breaks up. Fake out, breakout. Returning back to the channel, I think. Oh, actually, not bad. It's actually breaking out of the channel effectively now. It's doing a little tap bounce here. Resistance support check. Worked out fine. Bounces up. But still weak. It's below a lot. So I wouldn't call that a rally. Bullish. Maybe in the short term, small bull. Let's call X. Provides cloud and software platform systems, unified access networks. So many cloud systems. Oh, well, look at that double bottom. 28. It's not bad at all, actually. Great reversal space. Or not even reversal. That's a bullish continuation. Hold on. Let's go back in time. No, it's a reversal. Let's see how back and how bad. Not bad. Actually, look at you, buddy boy. Look at you go. Lower high, drops it hard from 77 down to 20 something. Has a bottom, has two double bottoms. And then breaks POC volume restriction pressure. Creates a gap though. Up in the 38s. Meh. It's not bad, not bad. I can work with that. This one's basing well on the top resistance. Filling a gap. Ooh, what's the gap size? Ooh, we got a pretty gap. And we're basing on top. This is an immediate play. What's up? BSTM. Adjust. Yeah, I don't want to do this here. Hold up. Yeah, let's move some stuff. All right. A little bit of adjustment. There we go. Oh, righty. No. It's good enough for the background there. Gonna check some of my current trades on another screen. What the DJT doing? Let's get that out of the way. So it does not include bias to the current trends. Yeah, that weak candle here for sure gives me a little bit of like, didn't make the top here on the close. It's kind of a doji, but it's also a bigger body than a doji, and that body's red. So it's not looking that good. This is not a different note. One could say it's building a pendant. Right here. But it's a lot of it is in pre-market and post. So I don't know if I want to trust it. But that is a decent paying attention here. Maybe if I just kind of do that and align the bottoms. I mean, generally. At this point, you're just trying to average out the possibilities. So I don't think it's super clear, but it is there. Sell walls do exist though, up to 39, apparently. Some optimists out there. Let's buy up to them some hard to look at colors. Hold up. I don't like the fill. The fill is too me. Yeah, let's do a little lighter there. I mean, it's bullish. It's opening up on a bullish note. It wants to fill the top first, which is not good. Because we still got a bottom one to fill. I'd rather fill the bottom than go fill the top. But now we have a risk of filling the top, getting rid of the strength on the upside, and then falling back down to the bottom gap. I guess the only possible super bullish position you can even argue is gonna be if the Fed prints, then we can ignore everything, ignore the gaps. Wait for them on the next round down. Yeah. DJT hanging on 26. Underside, not looking so well. Eligibility stimulus for Germany. Yeah, that's fair. That's happening potentially, but I don't even know. Let's see. German stimulus. Largest economy prepares to issue stimulus checks. Yeah, you know what? I can do Our buddy over here, Grok. Give a summary on the recent stimulus to German economy. This is the beauty of being a trader now. Yeah, I can look it up online, but I can also get Grok to do this in 5-second flat. So this was a March case. Launched. There it is. So he's right, 500 billion. Infrastructure and climate. They need that because they're having issues with energy. Defense spending. Europe is going on that defense budget. And then a growth of 0.2 2025. They're expecting a 500% increase in 2026. And a 200 per... I think I'm... What? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, 700%. And then here, 1,000% increase. Game changer. So Germany may avoid, or at least mitigate, a crazy recession. But yeah, huge inflation risks from that. I mean, if you put money in a market, 500 billion, you're gonna be introducing more flow of cash into the system, causing every dollar that existed in the system to lose power, aka inflation. Okay, SPY is building a bullish channel, very small one, but enough for it to influence the direction. If it keeps up until opening, it could be a big open upwards. But we got 3 hours and a half, so sit tight. I don't think it's gonna keep. It's too early. I like to see what kind of gap we get in the pre to post. So here was a pre to post downward and we filled it up. That's nice. Here was a pre to post, or post to pre, I keep doing it backwards. Post to pre upwards. We didn't really fill it. We created a gap that stayed. Here we also have a post to pre. So is there another gap down here that I didn't see? Where am I? Huh. Kinda 4 hour. I mean, no, they did that. Oh, they kind of filled it. I mean, it's very tiny if there is a gap, but they really filled it during day hours. They made that pop here in day hours to make, but then here's where they created the gap. Here, there is a small gap on the 1 hour. It's negligible. The daily works much better. Over 80% chance on a daily, and then these are like 40, 20, 30% fills, so super risky. What do you mean options are not risky? The introduction to a timeline makes them risky. Sure, you can handle them with risk, like risk conscious, timeline based, stressful strategies, but they are naturally risky just because of a timeline and a delta decay. Like, you've got two things against you versus just holding a stock. What do you mean they're not risky? They're just more raw exposure. You mean they're more volatile to market movements? Like, isn't that risk, my dude? I don't know. Sometimes there's some stuff that goes up in here that makes no sense. Can see not wanting to deal with it. I used to feud CFDs. Ooh, really? He played with CFDs? Just, I like derivatives, but I don't like derivatives. I think derivatives are the salt of the earth. There's no necessity for them. if there were derivatives that I can accept, if I had to accept, I'd accept calls, sure. I do not accept shorts though, because you have to have too much trust in the human being to trust that they're not going to abuse that ability to affect markets on the downside. Upside, majority people win if you just buy and hold. But downside, I get the whole policing the industry thing. But that's assuming that the police aren't the mafia. Yeah, I agree with that. Buy and sell volatility. That's why I use it. That's why I play mostly in volatile events. But still, to not accept that options are risky, I don't know about that one. You have to kind of accept the fact that you're playing with riskier assets, or not even assets, riskier contracts. Please, one. What are you looking at? You're not even looking at a chart. You're just saying words. Please, minus 1000. What do you have? Like your profile open and then just the chat on the side open? What are you doing? Actually, CFDs, Spotify, options versus futures. I don't do futures too much, so I can never vouch for anything there, but I do consider them more stable to look at as a guidance. What the DJT doing? Why are my volumes all low? I guess I'm in a blackout area. Hold up. There we go. Well, volume buying above price up here, but it still pushed it down. This is from yesterday and the other day. So people bought above price, but it got pushed down, so that's not very bullish. If it continues, it is, but the volume has been decreasing. Huge volume on the 23rd. Died out volume on the 25th, 4th. Oh, yeah, 24th. I got confused with 2025. Playing, dangling on that bottom support. I still say downward. I still say a nice drop to 24. Not even specifically, probably not even 24, probably 25 because it's a psychological. Right here with a wick that might go down to 24, but then the body should pop back up to here, holding us up. Previous push-ups. All right, let's look. Oh, I didn't even do crypto yet. I barely play crypto lately, but it has been a little bit hypey. So let us observe. Not good, not good, not good, not that great. SoFi, meh, Tesla, bunch of Bitcoins they're holding on to. Why is that there? I forget. No, it's not my best list here. That's just a crap list. Keep an eye on. What? Oh, yeah. This is a technical volume indicator, or at least a whole chart just for volume. Ugh, stuffy face. All right, well, if I look this and go into SPY, upwards, we had a downturn, true. Downturn, kinda. Downturn met with an upper divergence. I don't feel like it. Huge upturn. I mean, you can find a double bottom or a bottom by looking at these. If the next drop is less than the previous and it shows oh no, not divergence. Higher high, basically. I haven't really used this too much. VOLD. Volume minus up volume minus down volume. Basically a ratio. If we have positive volume, aka buyers upwards, aka buying above ask price, get an upward bullish. But it's just whatever. Been through my lists in a long time. What's utility look like? Let's check our initial claims. Are we in an upward yet? Get these volumes out of the way. Wow, they're really initial claims still not doing too volatile. This is probably why Fed's like, yeah, jobs are doing great. We haven't had a lot of initial claims come out saying that unemployment is an issue. Circa before 2020, random COVID, everyone loses their job. Peak. But I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if we really take a look at this, we had a downtrend. We always have a downtrend, and then we start basing slowly. And then, surprise, peak. Here, it's like kind of. You see this in front of, let's see, 2008. Downtrend. Basing. And then, surprise, financial crisis. 2000. 1982. 1975. Down, basing, surprise. Down, basing, surprise. I mean, this was crazy. This was a huge down over here. So since 2009, it's like they've been suppressing it. That's the problem, ain't it? We printed so much money, affected the market in such unnatural ways that things started getting weird. So this downtrend is huge before the basing. I mean, now it's like quick speed run. Down. And it's not even just basing. I mean, it is basing, but it's slightly upward. I call it a base, but it's a very long basing. This is what I'm skeptical about. This is my overall understanding of why I'm not bullish on the full let's go in with your mortgage and everyone's paycheck. Because we're not going down. We're basing. And we had a weird obfuscation of data here with the 2020. So that was like a weird one. And now we're just flatlining on the initial claims until we get another decent peak. Like maybe like this. Doesn't have to be that big. It can be. I mean, that's actually huge. Okay, let's not call it that big. Call it over here. I don't care. Over here seems fine because we got a nice little resistance here, maybe. From the COVID times. Reasonable. But as soon as it gets to a certain peak, I might buy 20 or 30% of what I want to buy as a total on the market. Like if I want to invest 100,000, I'm gonna buy about 20,000. If I want to invest 1,000, I'ma buy $200 worth. Just 20%. Leave the rest of the gunpowder ready. If it continues, I buy another 20. If it goes down, great, honestly. I mean, yeah, if it continues, I buy another 20 because we don't know where the top is going to be. If it goes down, I'll probably buy a whole bunch, like 80. Like the rest of my investments. Because normally, peak initial claims, job reports, and the reversal of that initial claim is when we can say that the worst has went by. UK 100. Just get skeptical when I start seeing these long-term channels that want to go up but also have this huge potential to break down, and they keep catching it. You know, buy the dippers coming in, but who's the dipper buyers? They retail or they big boys? This is a weekly chart, by the way. We're looking long term. 2020 case. UK crash happened before. Hold up. What this about? Let's do SPX. Yeah, no, it happened simultaneously. 2019, boom. 2020 came back in. Well, basically end of 2019. Yeah, 2020. And then a continuous uptrend. Then we broke back down. See, that's the thing. The guidance is always that we will always break down out of these channels on top of previous tops to confirm support and then bounce up and continue the markets always go up mentality. That's basically what keeps the market going up. Over and over, you'll see this. Another channel here. This one didn't go so crazy, but we did catch the bottom here. And then we bounced off. And this is the UK, but hey, you look backwards in time, it's kind of symmetrical with SPX and all the others. Or parallel. The US really shows it the most, honestly. $2020, huge crash. That was an unexpected weirdness. Markets were not prepared for that, so that was a surprise. Imagine going from 3,000 to 2,000. It's insane. So now we are essentially seeing if the overall market is going to respond as a bounce up from a huge correction. V recovery. Again on another top before it, this one on this top. That's how it guides itself up. It's automated, it's bots, it's algorithms, it's the typical trends that people follow until we don't. Until liquidity runs out or someone doesn't print the extra to make the bounce happen and we end up having like a, what do you call, a double top. So this is a critical point. We either go another round or we say GG, well played. But volume's picking up pretty heavy. Last time volume picked up this heavy? I mean, kinda. Because look at the volume over here. Huge volume, multiple days, caught the dip. One volume, one day, or 1 week actually, because we're looking at weeklies. So a couple of weeks here before we caught the dip. Here we just had one giant volume, and then, basing. So is it bullish? I can't really think it is. Not yet, at least. We need a couple of more giant volume candles. We need a nice, thick, set of volume candles like this sucker right here. Right now we only got a skinny little a skinny catch, which could mean it's retail, because retail, they don't have that kind of extra cash, which means that liquidity is being distributed back to retail so that they buy the top as normal. Analysts call it a game changer. You know, analysts are also invested in the market, so whatever they're analyzing is based on their own particular, what's the word? Interests? So, yeah, analysts are going to tell you what they want you to hear. Until you know that what they're saying sometimes is complete gobbledygook. Alright, well, we are waiting for a potential fill. Oh, wait, what am I doing here? This fill here is my interest point, so I'm going to go back down. We have entered the fill. We're basing on the fill. So a potential pop up to 54, a $6 upwards movement may happen in one day, but it could happen at the end. So if you're buying any options, probably not good to buy them at the beginning of the day. Wait for the theta volatility to calm down a bit and then buy it in. Volume space, long analysis. Where's my Ichimoku? Ichimoku crossing down. Ooh, not good. Oh well. The 30 minutes pretty good on the current weekly prediction here. It is kind of bouncing on the cloud, but oh, if it was extremely strong, I hope it bounced the first time. Right here. I mean, that looked like a very strong wick, and then it tried to bounce off, but it got hit in the aftermarket. Again, there was a 2630 right here. I marked it on this. A 190K sell order limit. That, I saw that and I'm like, somebody does not want it to stay up above this. So that's why I got out of my calls and I'm just watching to see what happens. Because that's the case. They're ready to throw down 190,000 cells just to push this whole thing down to hell. And if you get politics involved and money, well, they're not too strange. They're not strangers of each other. Let's call it that way. Bullish money making plan. Look. Fuck. What is this? Is he making... What are you doing here? Are you analyzing or are you creating like a high school cardboard freaking presentation cutout? Sometimes, man. Some of these charts are just goofs. Absolute goofs. Okay, my face is in front of my face. I just realized that the logo is like on the left and it's in my face. It's right in my face. Go like this. Or I could have gone like over here, put my face in the logo. Oh. Okay. Hmm. This isn't all my musics. I want all of the musics. The chill section? Oh yeah. Oh, this is the old list. Alright, well, let's reset that. Throw this new set in. And go next. I realize I haven't really dipped into crypto still. Alright, wait, let me see. I have a crypto list, a special crypto list. There you are. Okay, I have all my other stuff here. LTC, me. XRP, me. Total. Let's do some total. Hold up. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that doesn't look completely right, but hey. Ooh, total going above Ichimoku. Cloud from the red side. Will it base? Will it go higher? Liquidity is coming back in quick to crypto, man. Coin market cap. Let's see what the where's that one thing? Dominance. Let's see what the dominance looks like. Damn, it's still separating. I mean, kinda. Like altcoins, I mean, look at Ethereum. It's getting emptied. Yo. Feels bad for Ethereum, but they're holding very small amounts. Bitcoin's really taking liquidity. I mean, look at that. Ethereum was 18%. Now it's not 7. Hot diag. I mean, it's not a bad place to enter, but liquidity is staying in altcoins a lot better than they are in Ethereum. And of course, increasing. I mean, really, what's happening is people are leaving Ethereum going into Bitcoin, and no one's really changing their minds on any altcoin. That's crazy though. Look how it's stable over here. 29% on altcoins. At some point, what's Bitcoin at? Some point, Bitcoin's gonna be like, hey, we need a big dumpy dump. Dumpy dump into trunky trunk. What's this look like right now? I mean, yeah, he's in the freaking thing over here. Above Ichimoku. Doesn't mean we can't see another dump down to 87 for a support test on top of the cloud. But even still, we overcame a negative cloud. So really the downward force was not an issue. Upward trend here, of course, we got caught in the wind and we got another little bounce from that cloud, but then the negative small cloud here, downward wind, pushed us down heavy. Of course, again, always watch for those second touches. Resistance, and then look what happened. It just murked. This was when I was yelling that the 100,000, bro. We're gonna talk about ideas. 100K psychological region. Literally was talking about that region. And what happened? Boom. 100K one more time just for the road, and can buy it down 77 again. Hell, you can buy it at 74, but still 77 is a good buy-in. It's a good kind of average. Just as long as you know your trends. Now it's kind of like undecided, I want to say. I'd have to drop into the day, to the hourly just to see, but this was an interesting pendant. It almost looked like a downward channel. Easy to mistake that. That lower low was a bit of a fake out, wasn't it? Normally you see a lower low, you're like, oh no, downtrend. Did not happen here. Oh. All right, 4 hours. Let's see what we have. Trying to make another pendant. Now you can see the pendant here. Actually, it'd be something like this with a fake down breakout, fake down, or breakdown fake out, whatever the hell they call those. It pretended to go down and it caught itself and had a huge rip from 80 to 90. 10K in 2 days. 3 days? 2 days. Look at that rip, dude. But here, we are kind of seeing a ceiling form. However, it can be broken, of course. Ceiling here at 94. 94, 95 cycle. Oh, 94 exactly, rounded down. We do have an entry. People entering this trade as time goes, so they're interested in the price. But it's so top heavy right now. It's like a huge anchor on the top of this. I mean, it's between basically 100,000 and 95,000. So you got a $5,000 sell window. And all I know is people are selling, not people, well, not all people, but you would say majority people and corporations included, because apparently corporations are considered to be people too, legally binding documentation and all that, TIN, EIN, etc. They're going to try and sell at a high price because they're expecting some turbulence in the market, so they rather hold something cash-wise to potentially buy a dip somewhere else. And yeah, look at all that. Look at that. Here's where your resistance is coming from. All of that we have to re-establish as a strong point. And we didn't even break through that. We broke through something else that was a surprise, but this one caught us. This looks like a very big ceiling to me. So something to watch here is if we break 95. If we break 95, we can have a long fight inside of this range until maybe we build a bigger pendant and then potentially go further. But we need some long-term consolidation in this region, because look how long we had it here. We can't just break out and call it a night. We need some really crazy friction in here. So we'll see about that. But that does prompt me to think, hey, alts are kind of not falling. Alt was 27.8 here, now it's 29, almost 30. So there's a slight accumulation of altcoins. Bitcoin going up, Ethereum going down. The pump is moving from Ethereum to Bitcoin, and now we're reaching this sort of ceiling in Bitcoin where it's huge resistance, and they're basically almost out of gunpowder. They only got 7% of Ethereum left to contribute, even if they wanted to, but they would cause a huge crash to Ethereum if they went that. So I don't think they're gonna, and if alts aren't selling, then stability is in the favor of the altcoins. And we're gonna have one of these cases here, where Bitcoin just crashes and alts go crazy until they consolidate in the middle and then re-go their separate ways. So I'm looking for that trigger, because this is what happened here too. Look at that. It kind of increased, consolidated. There was a dip in altcoin to shake people off, so maybe expect a dip in altcoins to look at a pump in Bitcoin. But then immediately after, you're going to really experience some whiplash. So careful. They're going to do that. They're going to get you scared in the altcoins. Then they're going to move to Bitcoin. And everyone's going to be like, oh no, altcoins suck. Bitcoin's the best. And then all of a sudden, boom. Oh shit. They sold underneath our feet. And look at altcoins not going up once you exited. Don't fall for the psychological warfare in chats. And even in the price number. Follow the general trend. And the general trend is altcoins are basically basing right here at 29%. Ethereum has been selling, Bitcoin has been going up. So where do you think liquidity is going? If it's not coming from altcoins, you could see a quick sell-off, just like we did here. But the trend will break back up. That's the idea. Oh, okay, well, that's decent amount of all BTC. Total 2.9. So let's take a look at the general trend here in the market liquidity in crypto. So again, yes, total is popping its head above Ichimoku. It didn't, I mean, it forced itself through the cloud, which normally I'd like to see the obvious pressure from the red cloud and then a huge pop, because we ate up all the resistance. But here we had a pop through, peeked our head, and I'm feeling we're not gonna have the same result here. We're not gonna go up, only because we didn't give enough time for that particular consolidation in the negative channel, and then pop up when we leave that cloud. All right, what's alt? It's the complete super mega alts. That's what I'm looking for, baby. I mean, kind of, because now we have a upward trend. We may break down, right? We could break down maybe, but then again, if this continues out, hold up, hold up, hold up. They tricky over here. We could guide ourselves up this trend, break down naturally, hit that support, and then the opposite of what's happening in crypto world. Big pump, fight, breakdown. On the way down, it's going to be worse because, again, if you think of red clouds, they have a natural negative kind of gravitational force. They're just pulling always down. And that's why you don't want to stay a lot of time in there, because that could reverse your trend and you could lose a lot of money trying to fight that trend if it's not naturally going up. Green clouds, on the other hand, have an upward drift, air drift. So they're kind of naturally pull up. And this is where many times you do see a bounce off of those clouds. But if you don't see that bounce, you basically have weakness. So this is why here was a nice point to buy in, because you're in the green. You've got an upward drift from the green cloud. Again, the clouds are basically MAs, moving averages. So, and then you've got a basic bottom here, double bottom looking like process. Not clean, it's not perfect, but that wick here, huge niceness to it. But then, boom, we found ourselves at a lower high here and here. So that's things to consider. Bitcoin, I don't like this. I don't like it. Crypto, altcoins, I kind of like it. I'm pretty much waiting for this to fulfill itself before I'm like, hell yeah, let's get in there. Otherwise, Total 2. Total 2 includes Ethereum. Oh, very interesting. Ethereum. Okay, so Total 1 includes everything: Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. So it's like a Venn diagram. If you know how to work with Venn diagram and logical intuition there, you're looking at something like this. BTC, Ethereum, and altcoins. So this is Total 1, which is basically just the total without the number. Then this is Total 2, the one we're looking at now, with Ethereum included, no Bitcoin included. And then finally, Total 3, completely and fully altcoin related. We saw strength in Total 3. Pure altcoins are doing great. Ethereum, we see a bit of a resistance on the cloud. We just discussed that Bitcoin also had a little resistance up above the cloud. So if Ethereum is losing, Bitcoin almost looks like it's winning, but it doesn't have a good trend within basically the grabbing point, the liquidity zone in the cloud. We discussed it a second ago. We didn't have enough time in there, just kind of popped up and then based on top of it, not good. Here, we're not even basing on top, we're hitting it. We might get a denial, but then because altcoins might pop, you could find us kind of basing underneath the cloud. So potentially, we're looking at T2 going below the cloud until it finally breaks out after the crypto alt rally, if there is one. We're waiting on that. Here, Altcoins are looking juicy, building through our resistance zone slowly, and then also showing some nice wicks of dominance here. This could have broken down, but it didn't. It got bought back up, even though with the negative resistance. Wick here too. Strong wick because we haven't left the cloud zone. I do like this. I do like this. I do really, 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 really like this. Damn. This might be happening. I mean, that's just an over-exhausted trend. Look what happened every time we get here on Bitcoin. It falls apart. I mean, because when you had low Ethereum, you had high Bitcoin, obviously. And then Ethereum increased, Bitcoin decreased, so people moved from Bitcoin to Ethereum. They balanced out somewhere here. And then back to Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins did have a rally here. Then afterwards, they kind of started balancing. We got confident in Ethereum, but now Ethereum's just emptying out. Bitcoin's going up. Altcoins are not budging. This is what I really like here. Altcoins are not budging. I think I need to really dedicate some more altcoin money. I think I need to go 50-50. 50 equities, 50 crypto. I'm like 10% crypto right now. We're gonna have some big boom boom candles, I think. Your boom boom candles gonna go woom woom. Okay, so that's one of the things. XRP fundamentals, those are still good. I'm still looking at a long on XRP. Not as big as something like VET though. That's one thing I haven't been looking at lately. What's VET doing? I really think it's hella undervalued on the basis of, well, basically trades on, or trading. We're talking not stock trading, but shipment crates, product management, logistics. Do I even have, where's my VET? Yeah. Seeking connection, hero. Yeah, look at that alt. And this one's actually in the cloud. It might play around a little bit before it bounces out. Strong bounce on EMAs. Or at least the, yeah, EMAs. And then, so the cloud is like a delayed, translated. Let me see how much it's translated. Leading span 52 candles. So if you're in the week space, you're 52 weeks ahead trending a year. If you're in the daily, it's 52. So this cloud is basically building 2 months in advance. Or 52 is over here. So it's kind of taking all of the previous MA stuff and then shifting it over 52. And that's what makes the cloud. That's it. It's just EMA in a different adjusted perspective. People making connections to things that patternize themselves and use them to their advantage. It could all just lead down back to like human psychology, 52 month days. Or 52 would be a general case for the bars. Might change a lot. I don't like the volume though. Not a lot of volume. Climbing. Climbing decently. Hope the music's not too bad. I mean, it's kind of loud, but you can still hear me alright. I don't like to yell, so you're gonna hear that smooth, sort of deep voice from me most of the time. So I think I gotta hug into this microphone real quick, get nice and snug. How you doing? Alright, that was a voice check. Look good. So VET USD, T, or just VET in general, VetChain. VetChain advisors, partnerships, EVM compatible, low cost, fee delegation, fast transaction life cycle management, white paper. Let's look at some white papers. Web3 for better. I mean, everyone's talking Web3. VetChain journey, aspiration, sustainability, building blockchains, biosphere. A bunch of PR, VetChain technology landscape and roadmap. Since the inception, we have had pleasure of working with amazing people, PR. To briefly recap, White Paper 1.0, we discussed the key features of next generation of public blockchain enable, blah, 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 blah. White Paper 2.0, we outlined the strategy based on the phases, okay. Do I have to go through all of your stuff, or are you going to give me a summary? One of the most energy efficient blockchains using, yes. Carbon footprint, great. Proof of authority, yes, good. Being a public blockchain, VetChain Thor is highly accessible by nature, provides open platform. Use cases. Okay, use cases. Additionally, many developer tools such as Connex, with the adoption of VetChain Thor platform by the majority major enterprises and insurance companies, we were entering the business consensus phase. Blockchain application towards features that fulfill their specific needs, we began focusing, identifying companies and solutions capable of bridging the digital space with physical one. Yes, IoT and tagging companies. Tagging. There you go. So tagging is the key value here that really defines VetChain. I wanted to hear those words. Really simplified development, particularly focused on business use cases. Business use cases for tagging, if you can't put those two pieces together, I'm sorry, you need some fundamentals on economy or economics. If you're a business, you're tagging something, you're putting a barcode on it. You're putting a SKU on it. You have a standardized, universal form of tagging items to identify them as they move from warehouse to warehouse or production to customer. Now, SKUs, if you've ever done any websites between multi-global countries, aren't standard. You have to essentially register official SKUs to a center middleman, then they can provide that SKU on other countries or to other countries, and you can use that in the universal format. Or you can just ignore it and just make your own SKUs for your own small product and just whatever. But at that point, SKUs won't be trackable on the global scale, which normally if you're a growing company, you want to get out of that small business mindset. You need to have a more universal set of SKUs, products, marketing, and so on. This helps small businesses become global on the tagging scale, a whole blockchain that caters to SKUs. That's why I like this. Create a product in China, add that product as a tag on VeChain, VET, take it to the US, Europe, Russia, wherever. Anyone can go online, look up that tag on the chain universally. End of story. It replaces a lot of middlemen. It becomes more affordable for small businesses to become big or medium businesses. I don't think many small businesses care to become like corporations or anything, something huge. They just want to survive and cater to their particular employee base. So this helps us spread out away from a monopoly. Welcome to the crypto world. So there's a huge use case for this VeChain. I do like the tagging, fine. What other use cases? Building features that can improve business use cases and activities, including proof of authenticity, making sure that those SKUs are authentic. Meta transaction features, so transacting those products on the chain. Fee delegation, so for every time you sell a product or you use these VeChain SKUs, you have a fee associated, which promotes mining or just using that particular feature. Somebody gets a fee for it, they get paid for using it, so there you go. Tech integration, so this can probably go for even further, enabled by maturing Web3 technology. We're building a future. I'm not too familiar with Web3, so I'm not your best case scenario to get a good glimpse of it. Maybe we'll go into some research papers for that, but right now just looking at VeChain. 5G have already begun. Scale out Phygital? What? That sounds like a fidget spinner. Where's my fidget spinners, man? A phygital integration. Way to just create words. I mean, I'm all for it. Why the hell not? You know what I mean? If it makes sense that those two words are connected, why not connect them? And here's my fidget spinner. So, geez. With many successful use cases and applications already on the book, State of California has allowed its residents to choose blockchain-based. It's got a little excited over here with my little spinner. Oh, it's got a little weird. This is magnets, which is awesome. I can take apart my fidget spinner into magnets that are being affected by the green screen. Great fidget spinner, by the way. Amazon. Just gotta buy some stuff on there. What do you do? State of California allowed certificates, including birth. Oh, you can do that too. True. You just need any sort of officialization. Its residents to choose blockchain-based delivery of vital records, including birth certificates and marriage licenses. Nice. City of Raleigh, North Carolina uses machine learning and AI-powered video analytics to improve mobility. I think small-scale communities are starting to pop up where they're using a lot of these AI blockchain methodologies, and they're going to be the guinea pigs to see whether they're going to go up or not. See, these are kind of like... They're saying that we can replace this with VeChain. We can replace marriage licenses with VeChain, just like we can do the product case scenario. We can replace machine learning software that's providing policymakers with accurate traffic data, urban planning, video analytics. I guess you can I can see that with VeChain, but you can like for these case scenarios, you can replace any crypto with these cases. You just have to customize their particular use case. I'd like this tagging situation for products more. You can, of course, RFID has its own unique signature, so you can use that as well. Room keys, credit cards, all of these used, bought on the VeChain can increase the fees associated. etc., etc. Or not increase the fees, but the amount of benefactors of the use of the fee. So the more people use your locker that's a VeChain, I got to get my stuff, click, bought one. Someone had to process that transaction on the blockchain. They get a little fee from that transaction. It's like bank tellers, but digital bank tellers. It's okay. I see your particular use cases here. I don't like those. They're not as integrated into society as the cargo ship case scenario. But that's kind of shooting for the stars. I think you can do a couple of options for cargo too. Innovative low-code digital service platform. VeChain strategic alliances with major tech partners and consulting firms. Use cases, test modularity, supercharge adoption. For instance, AirTrace has a built-in innovative low-code digital service platform integrated with VeChain solutions, which their clients can use to implement traceability. This is not a, like, Vet is right now 2 cents. This is not a 2 cents to $500 play. We're in this unknown territory of all of these possible cryptos that can be integrated into society. And now people are playing with them on the proof of concept format. Everyone's got their own proof of concept of a particular process, blockchain. What can we do? What has anyone used their VeChain API for? And like they said here, AirTrace is using this VeChain API. Great, cool, that's nice. But you're gonna have to expect the digital world to get a bit more wobbly. We're gonna test the waters and we're gonna see which one of these cryptos are gonna end up being the give or take winners of the particular place they want to be in. VeChain being the skew, Dogecoin being less than dollar inflationary crypto. I don't know. XRP trying to be the new Swift, Bitcoin trying to be the new gold standard and digital investments, not investments, but I mean, in the future, Bitcoin might not be that volatile, and we're literally just going to have a very base movement. So right now, Bitcoin's a great moneymaker, but in the future, Bitcoin could end up just being a money preserver, just like gold is. But even gold's going crazy right now, so, you know, depends on the economy. But that's just the general balanced market perspective. You got to have 3 perspectives: the balanced market, the extremely underbought market, and then the extremely oversold market. Once you identify the characteristics of each one of those markets, you'll be able to understand which one's at play. So, and again, this is the case where you can see, I mean, yeah, Ethereum is kind of oversold. Kind of. A lot of oversold. A lot of people left Ethereum, so there's a lot of space available to go back in. Double. Does that mean the price will double? No, it could actually triple or quadruple or even just 20%. But right now, that's why reverses always happen. That's why markets go up and then down and down and then up, and you can't just go to the moon forever. You gotta get out at some point. So Bitcoin looking frothy, overbought. Ethereum looked oversold, and I'm still impressed with altcoins. That's crazy. They're just chilling there in the middle. You got USDT, BNB, Sol. Wow. Yeah, look how they're just basing. Sol is kind of opening up the gap. BNB. Binance is playing a big part in the market nowadays, so I'm not surprised. And then the others are just basically every other that's not in the top 5. Is that what's happening? What's the ranking look like right now? Yeah. Oh, XRP is 4. Why did that pop up on the dominance scale? Of course, trending buy. Everything's a buy. Just don't worry about crypto. It's Never gonna be a sell. Or is this just a button to buy? Oh, okay, no. I thought this was a button that's trying to tell us that the trending. Yeah, I see that's the problem. this this chart's a little bit flimsy. The trending buy, I was like, oh, is this what analysts are saying? But no, this is an actual buy button. Whoopty freaking do. Make them a little bit more obfuscated in order to kind of give you that, oops, I pressed the buy button by accident. Maybe. Excuse me for that. Testing. Mm. I think I've done enough. I think I've basically analyzed the crap out of everything by now. Crypto, BTC reversal, Ethereum's interesting, but it hasn't done too much. It looks like it has, but it really hasn't. I think XRP about to flip that. Very easy to flip here. Ah, if Ethereum loses second place, GG, man. People are gonna get weird about it. Dogecoin. Wow, is it up again? Just hold on to Doge. Forget anything else. Washa. VET, one day, doing the thing. 4 hours. I don't like watching crypto. Crypto is too chaotic. And this 1 minute crypto, forget it. What else do I have in crypto that I want to take a look at? In the long term, though, it's a decent bottom. That wick is a decent bottom. Look at that wick. I like that wick. And then we did maintain the body above the previous lows. So that's what really is getting me excited about VeChain and generally speaking, crypto. This one's the total too. Some people on Uniswap, man, it's still traveling underneath the cloud. It's not even getting denied by the cloud. It's like, it's tripping before it even gets to the cloud. It's tripping. I mean, kind of. It could be making a pendant here for a bump and then a deny, but I'm not the judge yet. BNB is just kind of killing it though. Damn, is it in all-time highs? BNB is in all-time highs? Wow, bro. 21 really pushed BNB up heavy. Look at that, 30 bucks to like $200-300. That's insane. But it is kind of low on the hype wagon. There's a ceiling there. The ceiling is kind of squeezing us down. We try to go above the ceiling at one point. But even though no candles really, on the weekly, no candles closed above. They always had to drop through. Yeah, this value is tough. I mean, here, okay, we had 2 candles closing above the ceiling. It was almost a confirmation of goodness. And then this candle broke through. I wait 3 candles closing above before I can confirm a trend in that direction. The third one here didn't close. Closed or it hit the actual critical point. Ceiling, floor, support resistance, whatever, it hit this critical point, broke our previous trend of trying to be above it. And then we got a nice candle here that's like, hey, yeah, we're above it still, don't worry. But it was a downward hammer. It was a bad shooting star. Indecisive doji, bad shooting star, holy crap. And then we just kept playing around it and around it and around it, and eventually gave up down 500. But honestly, that's it. 2024. Still, look where we came from. 300 bounced up. What's the trend here? Yep, head and shoulder reversal. I don't see that here. I see some flattening, big wick here. That's nice. Big wick energy. Big wick energy. Might work. But there's no particular trend it's gonna piggyback off of. Unless it's an odd extended cup and handle. Still wouldn't like it though. I don't like that. It doesn't look nice. This here could case scenario pop out from here, but it doesn't have a guidance up. In fact, the problem with this is they're going to use the momentum of both the green cloud plus, and I'm talking day algorithms. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. When I say day, it's algorithms, whether they big players, small players, the cumulative mindset of the general trend algorithm developers. They all follow these sort of MAs, trend lines, yada yada. So they're gonna use maybe a pop-up, and I'm gonna drop, and they're gonna use this green upward flow to want to break back up. And they could, because there's such small space, they could actually initiate a good breakout. That's actually a decent point, because then you're gonna officially exit this downward channel. Always breaks up, but then again, we're really watching this space. If we break back down, or if this doesn't work out very well and we break from the bottom, GG, we don't have that same result. So this one's a watcher, not really a participator right now. BNB, Sol. I'm not gonna chip on Sol, Solana, but didn't it have some chaotic great gains? Wow, dude, it was at 250, 260. Now it's at fucking $17. Fucking 17. But that's a good wick though. That's a decent wick though. That's a double. Is that a flat bottom? Ooh, look at that tight flat bottom. Look at them cheeks. Left cheek red, right cheek green. That's what I like to see right there. Them some tight cheeks right there. Alright, so I do kind of like this. I think it's been overbought or oversold for a while. And Solana is a part of the alt. If it has a chance to bounce and we break the above 28, we're at 14, 15, 17. We're about to break out the... We're building a channel to break out here. This might be an active trade now. So we're building a nice trend. It's actually strong AF because it's staying above on the top side of that bullish breakout. So we might break out today, tomorrow, next week, something like that. Hit a 29 double. Double. It's 17, 17, 34 would be double, but we could potentially hit this region. Do a nice test on this particular floor, or now resistance, ceiling. But then we could also do a better chance. We could wind in here, gather all that negative liquidity, and then fly up like a MF. Because we like that. We like to see extra resistance, especially when we're super low. This is a liquidity grab right here. This ain't bad. We're so low they can't push us very much lower unless there's like some heavy bad news. That's kind of the only other case, right? Wait. What am I looking at here? Sol USD? Solana USD. Why does it say in one place it's 154 and here it's saying it's 17? Hello? Why did that just change like that? Hold up, Sol USD versus Sol USDT is different? How does that make any fucking sense? How does that make any fucking sense, bro? Go back? What? Yeah. Delisted. Oh. Okay, okay. Can I just replace this? Oh, true. I should have looked at the date, no? Yeah, it's 22, yo. They won't let me add this? Hello? Normally, next to add alert, there's add to list. Dude, they're really restricting my fucking profile. They don't like me. Watch, my secondary account. Sol USDT. Oh, did they change something? I mean, okay, let's go back. The other way to add is from here. Add symbol. Okay. Uh-huh. I removed it, so now I can't add a new one. That's nice. This is why I don't like to remove my symbols, because now they're fucking with me. They're absolutely fucking with me. Ridiculous. This is why I hate TradingView. They got a great tool, but they're abusing their abilities. They're abusing their trust with their users. So I'm gonna keep using it until the tools are basically not free anymore. Or they really cripple the regular user. Then I'm out. I don't just use Webull because they've been doing a great job expanding their abilities on their platform. Oh. I kind of want to play some games. I don't trade anything outside of top 10, so don't look at me for advice outside of that. Only the vet. Where's vet at? The only thing I do is vet for that trade. It's in 45. So it's not a too bad one. I'll probably add into Sol in the future, Solana. Yeah, 26 is really acting a fool right now. Look at that. They're really not wanting it to go above 26. I'm not seeing a lot of volume. Oh, it's after pre-hour, so not a lot of movement on the time and sales sheets. Just fine. Still got another friggin' 3 hours before it opens. And I got students I gotta attend to. Um, oh, not a lot of students today. Nice. Okay, that's way later anyway. That's 12 o'clock because I gotta adjust my time zone. Is that Friday, really? Nice. Okay. So not a lot of students today. Monday and Wednesday are my heaviest days. So I can do a good stream. I can do a big stream today because I feel like something's weird, man. We're at a critical point in the SPY because we had a huge bull run, but we're we're sandwiched between two gaps. And right now we did start the gap here, didn't really complete it. So now we're back down below it. Now we're below Ichimoku too. So maybe I might get bullish. Like, see again, if you weren't here earlier, I'm looking for a bullish process here. Fill the gap, not to worry about it. Fill the gap, and then we go. That's the bullish take. We don't want to go the top gap first, because that top gap is... Gaps are basically like gravitational pulls. This gap is pulling the price up, this gap is pulling the price down. So if we take the bottom out, then we don't have any more downward pressure and we get affected by the upward pressure. If you take vectors into account here, like physics vectors, stream, friction vectors, a string hanging off at an angle, you have multiple directed vector lines, physics, right? These are basically those concepts here in a gap. So if we go up first and we get rid of that nice upward pull, we're going to get affected down, and then we're going to have this. After we get hit down here, we're not going to have an upward vector anymore because we just filled it. So that's why I would rather us go down here, fill these, and then go up here, and then we have a nice, clean, no more downward turn. We have a actual upward vector pull after we're done with this section down here, and then we can be like, oh, everyone's bullish again, yay, and then euphoria, basically. So that's why I like today's setup. It's very, very, very delicate, surgical precision on the market makers here to really take into account what's happening. I want to play some winter survival. There's nothing else to analyze, not until the market starts. I think I'm gonna do some survival games. And then just let this be on the... Yeah, it's been up to 4 hours. Let this be on the... Oh, let me actually timeline this sucker too. Alright, I'm gonna end the stream and then play some games in a little bit, but I'm gonna timeline the current stream so it's visible what we did where for anyone that's coming in late. So thanks for joining. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for the pluses in chat. Appreciate. Thanks for the likes. Always appreciate. I'm just a dude on the internet, doing my own thing, chilling at a garden. My chickens got killed by a ferret. Those little demons. I thought they were cute. I gotta change a heart. One ferret, maybe two, I don't know how many. But let's say one ferret killed 20 chickens because he felt like it. And the only thing he actually ate was 3 heads. 3 heads from 20 chickens. He was full, but he proceeded to kill everything. That is a monster. I get a hunter-gatherer, hunter mentality, wolf eats everything, you know, animals eat everything, but this little fucker just decides to go have fun and kill all my chickens. Fuck him. Fuck these ferrets. But they're so cute, but they're so fucking monstrous and demonic. I hate it. Anyway, that's all. I'm gonna end on that little story there.